Hi everybody, Matt Bernier here with the DRFBets race of the day for Friday, April the 19th, race number 9 down at Keeneland Racecourse, Lexington, Kentucky. A mile and a 16th on the main track. The Grade 3 Doubledogdare for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. Before we dive into the field, I'd encourage you to head on over to bets.drf.com. There's all sorts of great deals, but particularly for our loyal race of the day viewers. Take a look at this deal. Bet $7 to win on one horse in today's DRF race of the day. If your horse finishes second or third, we will give you your $7 back. Wagers must be placed on the new DRF Bet site at bets.drf.com or on the DRF iPhone app or in the new DRF Classic PP wager pad. Again, all those details and more over on bets.drf.com. Let's take a look at this field of fillies and mares going the 8.5 furlong distance. You can head on over to the Race of the Day page on DRF.com. You can download free formulator past performances and handicap along. As I go through this field, it's worth noting at the top that the initial morning line favorite, Blue Prize, she is very unlikely to run in this spot. The connections are choosing to bypass this race and run her in the Grade 1 La Troyenne on Kentucky Derby weekend. So that does change the complexion of this race from a wagering standpoint as well as from a pace and class standpoint. Let's just take them in order, though. The one Hala Hala goes out for Fausto Gutierrez. A solid second place finish 2 starts back in the Royal Delta down at Gulfstream. That was a one-turn mile. Earned an 88 buyer in behind Blamed. Finished ahead of a nice filly in Tecalita. Came back in the inside information at a shorter distance. Didn't really work out for her, off a little bit slowly, so maybe you don't want to hold that race against her. Stretching back out in distance, if you look and see what she's accomplished throughout her career, going longer, doesn't look like it should be an issue. The question really now boils down to, is she good enough to run with these, with the defection of Blue Prize? This race becomes a little bit more open, I believe, so perhaps Hala Hala at a decent number could be one that is worth considering. Let's take a look at the number 3, Electric Forest. We're skipping over the 2 Blue Prize, who again is expected to scratch. Electric Forest is a filly that I've been a fan of for Chad Brown. She's very lightly raced, only gone out 4 times, twice a winner. Her most recent try was the graded stakes debut. That was in the Rampart down at Gulfstream over a sloppy sealed track. Not a great trip, in and amongst horses, unable to finally find somewhere to run. Gets out into the clear eventually, comes on a little bit too late. I think there's a scenario where with a cleaner run, she's able to win that race. Tecalita got the jump on her there. There's also a part of me that does wonder if additional ground is going to be to her benefit. Really like that run 2 starts back at Aqueduct. Granted, going shorter, 7/8 of a mile. I don't think this distance is going to be an issue for her. To me, Electric Forest, strictly one of the horses to beat in here, despite the fact that there are other fillies and mares in this race with better buyers, with more experience, and with better running lines. The 4 is Promise of Spring. Promise of Spring owns the highest last out buyer in the field and the highest last out raw time form rating in this field, 91 and 113 respectively for Steve Margolis. Corey Lanery has the mount here. Those last numbers earned in that Bayakoa, and Moonlit Garden, who we'll get to more momentarily, was also in that race. Those figures that Promise of Spring earned are the fastest of her career, and they came in her 17th lifetime start. So she's clearly in good form right now. Now, that race was a couple months back, so you're coming off of a short layoff. To me, she's always been one that's probably better used underneath. Also, don't love that she ran as poorly as she did in this race, the Doubledogdare last year at Keeneland. She finished 5th in a field of 12. Granted, this is a shorter field, and she's coming in seemingly better form. She's one I'd be considering underneath. I just don't know. It depends. Everything is all about value. What kind of price are you going to get? If you got a great price on her, she certainly fits. To me, if she's going to be somewhere in that third choice range, don't know that I love her, but she is certainly a horse that I'd be considering if you're playing any kind of exotic wager. Number 5 is Moonlit Garden. And let's take a look at the Timeform US Pace Projector, because I don't necessarily agree with the way that Timeform has laid this thing out. They have the 8, the 3, and the 5 lined up. And again, you're going to see the 2 on there. The Pace Projector will adjust once scratches are official. So you're going to want to check back over with TimeformUS.com, because that will update once Blue Prize is withdrawn from this race. You look at this and say, okay, Golden Award, who we'll talk about more in a little bit, she has some good early speed, but it's not as though she's a burner. And when I look at a horse like Moonlit Garden, all 3 of her victories have come when she's been up there prompting, or if not outright on the lead. And she's in good form. I think there's a real scenario where Joel Rosario is aggressive. You push on her. You try to establish position. In many ways, depending on what a horse like Electric Forest wants to do, Moonlit Garden's the speed nearest the rail. I think she's going to be aggressively ridden and be forwardly placed. And at that point, you take your chances. She is 2 for 2 in the exacta at Keeneland lifetime. 1 victory, 1 runner-up finish. she's an interesting sort of candidate to upset this thing if you don't believe that the pace is going to be sort of on the hot side. If you don't believe that the pace projector is necessarily correct in this instance, I think the 5 is going to be aggressively ridden. And if she gets out there and they leave her alone, perhaps she could get brave. Let's talk about the number 6, La Force, a horse that I'm familiar with, keeping an eye on Southern California. Goes out for Patty Gallagher. Let's start off with the formulator fact. It's not a great one, but admittedly a small sample size for Patty Gallagher. Past 5 years outside of California, 0 for 12, 3 times in the money. My big knock with La Force, she's rock solid. She shows up. She's probably going to give you a high 80, low 90 kind of buyer. Occasionally, she can get up into the mid-high 90 range. But take a look at the lifetime record. She's 2 for 23 lifetime, 11 times second or third. She settles for minor slivers. Her running style, granted, is not really conducive to the tracks in Southern California. She was in way over her head in the distaff most recently. You see the names Monomoy Girl, Midnight Bisou, who we've seen what she's come back to do here in 2019. Perhaps getting out of Southern California to a track like Keeneland going to be to her benefit. The problem is, I don't know that she's going to get the pace that she needs. And unless Drayden Van Dyke is aggressive with her early on, it's a part of me that wonders if she's just going to have too much to do too late. And keep in mind, the finish with this race at 1.16 miles, short finish line, short stretch. So they're going to have to be really rolling with full head of steam, probably about half mile out if you want to get up in time. You take a look at the number 7, Go Google Yourself. Go Google Yourself from a Timeform US standpoint with the raw ratings, fits in here nicely, has a victory at Keeneland to her name. Buyer standpoint, she's at least got a couple on her page that make her a competitor in here, or a contender. The problem is the field that she defeated in that March 8th race down at Oaklawn Park has come back terrible. Wonder Godot, probably not a representative effort from her Sunday in the Apple Blossom given the way that she was ridden, and she probably needs a different surface at this point. But she earned a 68. Third place finisher came back and earned a 73 in her next start, and the 5th place finisher a 71. There's a part of me that looks at it and says there's a real chance that that race is not nearly as good as it looks. Also keep in mind, she was forwardly placed when there wasn't a ton of speed signed on according to Timeform US. Blue fractions internally makes me think that maybe, you know what, if you're going to fade anyone, perhaps it's a horse like Go Google Yourself, despite the fact that she is 1 for 1 at Keeneland. The 8 Golden Award. I think now with the defection of a horse like Blue Prize, I think favoritism will come down to either Golden Award or Electric Forest. Golden Award has had a few more starts, a couple more starts actually, than Electric Forest has. She has 6 lifetime, 5 times in the exacta, 3 times a winner, and she is on a 3-race win streak. She's really put things together here for Bill Mott. Ever since the blinkers have gone on, she's really taken her game to the next level. And you have to like what you've seen. The fact that she's won a 1-turn configuration at Gulfstream, 2 turns at Churchill back at the beginning of November. She's fired fresh off the bench in the past. She's been favored in all 6 lifetime starts. Now, I don't know that I love the field that she beat most recently, but it's worth noting. Tweeting, the runner-up, came back and earned an 85 in her next start. So at least that form holds up relatively well, and you look and see she was almost 4 lengths clear of that runner-up in that spot. So maybe the form was holding up decent enough. That 2-turn race at Churchill, 2 starts back, has come back terrible, so maybe that's not one you want to use as a real barometer. I'm going to be very interested to see how Tyler Gaffalione rides her because, again, the pace projector has her on the lead. I don't know that I agree with that. I think with that outer draw, you take up that perfect sort of pressing position. If you let Moonlit Garden go, you can sit just off her flank and try to get first run or hem in a horse like Electric Forest. If you think that she's going to be sort of the other horse that you need to worry about as far as favoritism is concerned, you can keep her in the box for as long as possible and try to get the run on the closers. And then we get to the far outside, the number 9, Echo. This is a nice mare at this point. She's 6 years old. She's a daughter of Giants Causeway. She's done most of her damage on turf and on synthetic. She has won on a fast main track in the past. There's a part of me that just thinks she is considerably better, although the figs may not necessarily bear out. I think she's better on other surfaces. The run 2 starts back, the 85 buyer, the raw 103 Timeform US rating. Those numbers are respectable, perhaps enough to get a minor award with her running style. I don't think she's the best closer in the race. Therefore, to me, I would only be using her underneath, despite the fact that she's run relatively well at Keeneland in the past. Only 1 start on the main track, but it was a runner-up effort. So let's take a look and see where I landed here in the 9th at Keeneland on Friday, the DRFBets race of the day, the Doubledogdare. Admittedly, I'm a fan of Electric Forest, and I don't think we've seen her best just yet for Chad Brown. Jose retains the mount. I think there's just a real scenario where you look at it and say, with a better trip, I think she wins the Rampart. They've given her some time. That was all the way back in December. Chad usually fires fresh off the bench. And this is It may not be a giant field and it may not be loaded with superstars, but this is a pretty good group, even with the defection of Blue Prize, or the sort of planned defection of Blue Prize. I think she was very unlucky in the Rampart. I think she shows herself and shows what she's capable of here in this race on Friday. To me, Electric Forest is the one that they're all going to need to beat. It's 3, 8, 6, and 5 for me in Friday's DRFBets Race of the Day. And again, want to remind everyone, our loyal Race of the Day viewers, there's a special promotion just for you over on DRFBets. It is the money back race of the day. Bet $7 to win on one horse in today's DRFBets Race of the Day. If your horse finishes second or third, we will give you back your $7. Again, all the details are over on bets.drf.com. Schedule post time for the 9th at Keeneland on Friday afternoon, 5:30 Eastern. Good luck.